Hey folks, your OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of one of the cheapest fitness trackers I was able to find online. It sells for under $11, and for that you get a basic fitness tracker that gives you your steps, calories burned, distance walked, as well as some light sleep tracking functionality, and it uses this OLED screen, which is actually pretty bright and of course shows off your time and date information. With that being said, it's definitely not a real smart watch, so there aren't any apps that run on it, and linking it to the phone is pretty simple using Bluetooth, but limitations include only getting text or call notifications. Anything more than that, you don't get really additional info displayed on the band. But otherwise, again, this price point is super low. It makes for a very good gift idea, maybe as even a first fitness tracker that you're trying out, or maybe giving it to a kid or to an elderly person so that they can get more motivated about their fitness goals, and it works decently as far as accuracy is concerned. Specific model is the SW307, comes in a number of different colors, and it also uses a simple micro USB cable for charging purposes, and it takes roughly 2 hours to completely its charge, and afterwards it's going to last you for about a week or two before you need to recharge it again, so energy is actually pretty efficient. So you can see here we have the black version of the band, and if we take a closer look, again, it's a very generic build. It just has this simple silicone band that is stretchable and will accommodate wrists of almost all sizes. It's going to be good for both men and women to wear. There aren't any heart rate monitoring features or extra fancy features that you have to pay more for. So really just as bare bones as this kind of tech can be, and we've been seeing stuff like this for a while now, so not anything super exciting. But you can kind of make out the OLED screen on the center here. It has this kind of interesting bubble-like shape and texture, and you can actually remove this from the silicone strap to clean the strap, in addition to charge the band, which uses micro USB. So unfortunately, this one isn't completely waterproof, so it's really meant just for exercising. It's going to survive some splashes as well as some sweat, but that's essentially it. There's a USB indicator on the inside, so you can know the correct orientation when you pop it back in, and that's essentially it. So a very simple build and design going on here. Let's take a closer look at the interface as well as charging the fitness tracker. You can see the date and the time information. The day of the week is displayed on the right, and for a relatively small screen area, it actually shows off content fairly well. It's bright, and I can still see it under direct sunlight, despite the fact that the plastic here is actually very reflective, so it already does a decent job as far as showing up and visibility. I can tap on the capacitive sensor on the right here to take a look at other information. The first time that I tap on it, it shows me my step information. Unfortunately, as far as fitness trackers go, it's not the most precise step counter, and that's because if you accidentally shake it or kind of move it and knock it around, the sensor does count that as a step. So kind of just knocking this and shaking it a few times, you can see that the step count will actually increase. So the step count has now gone up by about 10 just by a bit of shaking here and there. So definitely not super precise, but it does work, and the first time that you launch the application, you kind of calibrate it by inputting your weight as well as your height and stride length, so that kind of recalibrates and weights the steps a bit differently just to match things a little bit better. You can see your calories burned as well. This is distance walk by kilometers. There's also additional goal settings that you can set up. Finally, there's a timer mode which you can start for some extensive activities, and you can also turn the sleep tracking mode on or off since it's not going to be on all the time. You can hold on this for a few seconds longer to enter the sleep tracking mode, and what that allows you to do is it's going to be a bit more precise to motion. So if you kind of rotate this, it's going to say that you were in light sleep or awake versus in deep sleep, and it actually does a pretty good job. It syncs up that information and wirelessly sends it to the phone or the app, and you can record up to about 48 hours of data before you need to transfer it out, and it wipes it off. So I can tap and hold to turn this function off, and it's pretty easy to access. Other features on here I can take a quick look at include settings. So if I go into settings here, I have a few things I can change, such as the date information directly. I can set this up so it's proper, hold for a few seconds to save it, and also date information. So what's kind of nice about this is that you don't actually need to get into the application to sync the time and date info. You can access it directly just from the watch, which is not a feature that every single fitness tracker has. So that is a nice little bit of customization that you get. You can also set, again, male or female just directly on the fitness band, which again are touches that we haven't really seen before on other super low-cost fitness trackers. It gets things a bit more precise and ready to go, even if you don't want to download the app on your phone. So kind of interesting. All right, so that's been the settings. and this just loops us back basically to the time. So everything is fairly well thought out. At the end of the day, although this very basic smart fitness band is by no means meant to compete with expensive Fitbits and more professional setups that you have on the market, it is a super low cost option that actually works pretty well. It's not the most accurate thing like we talked about. As far as being a very basic watch is concerned, it actually does a decent job. Display is pretty bright. It does support gestures, so you can kind of rotate and twist your wrist to have it turn on automatically. The sensor is pretty easy to activate, and you do get quite a few features from sleep tracking to setting up things directly on the watch instead of having to use the app, which is something that most fitness trackers force you to do. With that being said, again, it's not going to be perfect for everyone, and it's more meant as an introductory fitness tracker or as a gift for kids or even the elderly, rather than something to be used seriously and for long-term usage, especially since it's not fully waterproof. But again, at sub $12, it really shows that technology has evolved a long way, and now even for practically no money at all, you can pick up devices that are quite capable of showing your fitness goals as well as daily activities and steps. You can check out more details about this in our official written review, but for now, this has been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Review.